You ready for the challenge? And the crowd goes wild. Now, I want to remind you that challenge doesn't mean that we're in competition. This isn't about you being better than somebody else that's here. This is about challenging your mindset, your beliefs, all of those old patterns that are wanting to pull you back into striving. They want to keep you in that place where that leads to burnout. Challenge means we're going to challenge ourselves to do things differently, to see things differently. Our brain is just a big piece of plastic. So we have the ability to change our patterns and our behaviors, but we need to be really mindful of what those are and shift them really intentionally. So this month's challenge is about keeping commitments to yourself. Now, I have heard for a long time in doing this work that self-care feels selfish. And this is I'm gonna I'm gonna help you rewire this, y'all. Let me give you a different perspective. Stress and overwhelm is actually selfish because when you show up as that version of you, you're not your best self. You're snapping at things, you're short, you're not serving in your best way. Taking care of yourself is service. Self-care is service. And so this month, we're really going to focus on keeping commitments to ourselves. The first one that I want you to honor is put our live coaching times in your calendar on repeat as a reoccurring appointment in your calendar. If you haven't done it from the platform here, make sure those are in there and honor that commitment. That's a commitment that you've made to yourself. And we're all here to support one another. So we're counting on you showing up because in those sessions, we're going to talk with each other and share how's it's going, what's challenging, and really learn to support one another as we shift into this age of humanity. And so we need you. We need you to show up. It matters to us, and it's going to be good for you. And other ways to keep commitments to yourself might be traditional self-care, nutrition, getting enough movement, honoring taking that walk in the morning before you dive into email, honoring some prayer time before you jump into appointments, whatever it is for you. And what you, again, this is very unique and personal to what you need. And you did your assessment of how you're doing in the various parts of the personal story framework. So you know what you need. I'm going to give you a couple of examples that you may not think of that are really important. So, you know, those times when somebody says, "Hey, can you meet next Thursday?" It's a client, it's a colleague, it's whoever. And you look at your calendar at that time and you've said to your sister or your spouse or someone that you were going to do something for you. And you say, "Yeah, I can meet then." And you give that time to someone else instead of honoring it for yourself. Not this month. This month, you're going to say, "I'm sorry, I'm busy at that time. Is there another time that we can meet?" Because you keeping that commitment to you is just as it's more important than meeting with that client or that boss. I mean, there are rare exceptions where you got to give your time away, but you know what we do is we give our time away before we even ask if there's other alternatives because we want to serve and prove ourselves and make sure everybody knows that we're willing to do our part. And then we're exhausted and we're cranky, usually with the people that we love the most. So this month starts a new chapter. We are creating the conditions to grow, prosper, and flourish. And we do that by keeping commitments to ourselves. So write that story. I want to keep commitments to myself this month and always. We're going to continue with these challenges. It's not just for this month. You know that, right? I want to keep commitments to myself in order to, because if I don't, write the story because that will give you something to come back to when it gets hard. We are learning to speak to ourselves. Our brain believes everything that we tell it. And so when we say, "I am keeping commitments to myself in order to, because if I don't," we've set the expectation for ourselves and we're writing our own story. So don't skip that part. Each month in the challenge, we'll always have that part. Don't skip that. That's an important piece because when you're sitting here and we're in it, you're like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But if we don't have that extra level of conviction in writing why it matters to us, next Tuesday when somebody challenges that time that you've put aside for yourself, you're going to need to remember why that matters to you. All right. I'm excited. I'm glad you're here. I believe in you. I believe in the collective of us. Love you, mean it.